Yo, what's good everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, and in this video I'm going to be giving my list for the top 25 players going into the 2023-2024 NBA season. So yeah, this is actually different than what I've done before. I usually do the top 10 players of going into the next season, but this time I said let's spice it up a little bit. Let's do 25 players, actually 26, because I'm going to explain the one player that missed the list. But yeah, I don't want to waste nobody's time. There's nothing really to talk about. Let's get straight into it. If you want to help support the channel, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 1K by the end of the year, and your subscription will be greatly appreciated. Anyways, let's get straight into the list, starting out with number 26. The one player who missed the list is Paul George. So Paul George missed the list, but everyone above I thought was better. I looked at a bunch of different lists to curate this list. So yeah, let's get straight into it. At number 25, I have Zion Williamson. Obviously, bro got a lot of different things going on, different females going on in his life that he needs to evaluate. He also has a lot of health issues he needs to evaluate. You stay off them damn honey buns, Zion, and you'll be fine. But anyways, when he was playing, he was fantastic. But other than that, bro was barely on the court. He didn't even play for the playing game when he was like, I don't feel like Zion. Like, we're supposed to really know what that means. Like, come on, bro. That's just some BS to say you're not really fully healthy, bro. But hopefully Zion could get better, because Zion's one of my favorite players. So hopefully he can get better. But you're staying at 25, buddy. You were really good in the games you played, but if you played more than freaking 3 games the whole season, you will definitely be higher. But let's move on. Number 24, I have Anthony Edwards. He's definitely going crazy right now in the FIBA Cup or whatever, but he's going crazy in there, and he played pretty well this season as well, and that's why I put him at this list. On number 23, I have Trae Young. Trae Young definitely had a little bit of down season from 3. I remember he was shooting like 20-some% at one point in the year. It was pretty bad, but Trae Young's still a fantastic facilitator. Great 3-point shooter. Just watched the Jimmy High Roller video. He would be like the greatest 4-point line shooter ever because of how many 30-foot 3-pointers he takes, which is actually insane. Could definitely go higher, but he did play kind of boo-boo in the playoffs, so kind of put him down, but he's still a great player. At number 22, I have Domantas Sabonis. As a Warriors fan, I've seen this dude absolutely fold in the playoffs. Bro was not good. Bro got stomped on by Draymond. I'm not going to put that against him in the ranking, but I personally would not let that slide.
Stop the cap.
He played good. He also was an MVP candidate over Fox, which is crazy, because I feel like Fox is one of the main reasons why they were actually starting to elevate, because Fox took his game to a whole nother level this year. You've seen it in the playoffs. Who was the riser in the playoffs? Who fell off in the playoffs? We know what happened. But Sabonis still had a great season. He's a great facilitator, decent scorer, but in the playoffs he did kind of flop, so kind of affects the rankings. I mean, not saying the Sabonis season was ass, but his playoffs were ass, so he got moved down. So at number 21, I have Jaylen Brown, the $300 million man, which is crazy to say. But bro cannot dribble with his left hand. But it don't matter. He still had a great season this year. I think he averaged like 26 points a game or something like that. In the playoffs, he was pretty good as well, except for that last game 7 where he had like 8 turnovers. Couldn't dribble at all. But it don't matter. Jaylen Brown, fantastic player. He's at number 21 on my list. Now into the top 20 on the list. Number 20, I have Bam Adebayo. Great defender. He actually was like the best Heat player in the final, because Jimmy just for some reason lost all his damn powers. I don't know if the Space Jam aliens came over and attacked him, but Bam was definitely the best player on that team during the finals. He can work on his offensive game a little bit. I've seen him miss a lot of mid-range jumpers, which you kind of need at least a jumper somewhat in this league, but it don't matter. At number 19, I have James Harden, who on some of these lists I was seeing, he was getting overrated as hell. Because, I mean, obviously James Harden's going through his little saga right now. James Harden's still a great facilitator, a decent enough scorer. He is still a little bit inefficient. He still flops in the playoffs every year. He's washed like my damn clothes in the playoffs, but in the regular season he could be kind of cool. He drops some 10 assists, some 10 dimes, but when it comes down to the real chips in the middle of the table, he flops every time. I wonder where he's gonna go next, because obviously he doesn't want to play in Philadelphia, and maybe he'll be on the Clippers like he wants to be. Not 100% sure, but he still is a decent enough player. He's still a top 20 player, but he's not like near top 10 like some people in these lists are trying to make. Like, come on, man, he's not even close. At number 18, I have De'Aaron Fox, and from a Warriors fan, this dude was cooking us before he broke his, I think he broke his finger or he fractured or something like that. He was cooking. He still was playing good after that finger. Don't get it twisted. These freaking narratives of people saying that the Warriors only play injured teams. Fox is still crazy. He's the reason why the Kings elevated from like a nobody team to the top 3 seed in the West. Actually insane. He played in fantastic, and he definitely deserved that Clutch Player of the Year award. I've seen so many clips of him just hitting clutch shots, and in the Warriors series, he was definitely their best player, the most clutchest player. Bro would be casual, have a casual 16 points in like the first 3 quarters, then drop like 20 in the fourth quarter. I've never seen someone like make every shot in the fourth quarter. It was actually insane. De'Aaron Fox definitely deserves to be there. I'm excited for the Kings next season. I'm excited to see what they do, because me from Sacramento, I'm very excited to see where the Kings go forward and where Fox elevates his game. So at number 17, I have Ja Morant, who was getting underrated on these lists. I don't know why. Ja Morant was like, I think he was like below 20 on some of these lists I was seeing. That is insane. I know that bro be swinging around guns. I know he think he a thug like YoungBoy, but he is still a top player. Ja Morant is one of my favorite players, one of the most electric players in the league right now. These people are underrating him just because of some controversy he has. So hopefully, like, Ja Morant could show these people who like, Ja is insane. He still had a fantastic season too. Like, I don't know what these people are talking about. I know that they got lost to the Lakers and they were a top 2 seed, but like, that's not really his fault though. He got injured and he played through it, and he still dropped like 40 some points in the playoffs with a hurt hand. I don't know why people don't talk about it. I know they lost, but still, it's still pretty crazy to me. And Ja still had a fantastic regular season as well. So I think the controversy is kind of clouding how people think of Ja Morant. So at number 15, I have Donovan Mitchell. He's another one of those electric players that I love to see. I actually watched his 71-point game live on League Pass. It was actually insane. Donovan Mitchell, one of my favorite players. He did kind of flop in the playoffs though, which is crazy, because I was one of those people like Donovan Mitchell always comes clutch in the playoffs, and he did always, but he kind of did flop in that Knicks series. I was pretty confident in the Cavs winning that series, but hey, he mentioned needed one of those series. I feel like he's going to come out crazy next season, and the Cavs are going to be a really, really scary team to watch out for. I don't think they're going to be a straight up title contender yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do some crazy noise in the playoffs. Donovan Mitchell levels up crazy. Darius Garland and all the players that they have on their squad level up. But Donovan Mitchell, number 16 on my list. So at number 15 is Jamal Murray, who also was getting underrated on these lists. I don't know, and he's also underrated on 2K too. Why did bro only have an 88 rating? He low-key deserves a 90 rating. No cap. Because Jamal Murray was going crazy in the playoffs, cooking the Lakers, cooking the Heat. He was going insane. He had like 10 assists in like 4 of the games in the finals series. He was averaging like almost near a triple-double in the finals. Like, come on, bro. Like, we gotta give Jamal Murray his respect. He came back from an injury. He had a slow start to the season, and then he got back to his original self, and he was playing like Bubble Murray. Like, bro, Jamal Murray is lit. He deserves his respect, and that's why I have him at number 15 on my list, because he was getting low-key underrated by these lists, and I need to show Jamal Murray his respect for this season. I expect him to go crazy this season as well, and the Nuggets to be a very scary team going into next season. At number 14, we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He was a player who was kind of getting a little bit overrated. I get it. He averaged like 30 some points. I get it. He was going crazy. Shai, he's pretty insane with how he can get to his spots and stuff like that, but I feel like he's a little bit overrated. Shai is a great player, but he will definitely go higher on my list if the Thunder get some actual success, which I do definitely see that they can do. I definitely see them going to the playoffs next year, but I feel like he was getting a little bit overrated because of his solo stature, and that's just kind of how I feel. But he's still a great player though. Like, you're not averaging 30 points and you're just a straight trash player. That's not gonna happen. But at number 13, I have Damian Lillard, another player, another guard who really had no success and put up a lot of numbers. Damian Lillard, obviously one of the best shooters in the league. However, that 71-point game, which was insane. He's trying to get to Miami right now. That's literally the only place he's gonna go. Like, it's inevitable he's gonna go to Miami. He's not going anywhere else. I'm telling you that. I could put money on he's not going anywhere else other than Miami.
Damian Lillard is officially a member of the Milwaukee Bucks.
Not going anywhere else. I'm telling you that. I could put money on he's not going anywhere else other than Miami.
Other than that, Damian Lillard had a fantastic season. His team just had no success. If I picked out a Shea and Dame, who are kind of in the same category of like two guards who had like no success this year, I would just rather have like Dame on my team because of like his clutch gene and all that stuff than Shea. Shea's still a great player though. I feel like I'm just trying to make sure that people don't think I'm hating on Shea. I'm not. I just feel like he's being low-key overrated. He's not a top 10 player in my opinion. And a lot of lists had him at top 10. But at number 12, I have Kawhi Leonard. Which is a very interesting situation because it's just like Zion where if he's on the floor, he's amazing, but he's never really on the floor. But Kawhi in the playoffs, those few games, was actually insane. Like, he was always getting 30. He was barely even missing his shots. His defense is phenomenal as well. Like, Kawhi is definitely one of the best players. If he just could stay healthy, he could be an easily top 5 player, but he just is never healthy, so we have to move him down to the 12th spot. Like, that's just how it is. But if he was definitely healthy, he would easily be a top 10 player. At number 11, I have another injury-riddled player, Anthony Davis. And his defense on the Warriors in that playoff series was phenomenal. His defense on the Grizzlies was phenomenal. His defense in general was pretty great this year. He wasn't as injured as he was in other years, even though he obviously is Anthony Davis. He's going to get them injuries. But other than that, he still was pretty good this year. In the playoffs, he low-key did elevate his game, even though he had those freaking ups and downs the whole playoff for some weird reason. He still was pretty good. I know a lot of people think that he was better than LeBron in the playoff series, which I can see that side, but I do think that LeBron probably was just a little bit better. And speaking of LeBron, starting off with the top 10, we got LeBron James at number 10, which is definitely, I feel like, might be the most overrated player in the league today by the LeBron fans, because people are saying he's the best player in the league, which he's clearly not. He's obviously lost a step, even though he's averaging 28 points or whatever in the season, and he's averaging like 27 in the playoffs. He's still not as good as old LeBron. It's like when, as a Warriors fan, when we were watching LeBron during that playoff series, that was the first time when I'm watching LeBron, I'm like, yo, he actually like isn't as good as he was back then. Like, that was the first time I ever really like put that into my head. I'm like, dang, LeBron really isn't as good as he used to be. Like, I'm seeing like he lost a step. He isn't really driving as much. He's taking a lot of 3-pointers, which he was missing a lot of them during the playoffs. But LeBron James, still one of the best players, which is crazy that he's even number 10 at 38 years old, and he probably will still be a top 10 player going into next season, which is actually insane. And the Lakers have a very great chance to win a championship this year, so pretty interested to see how that goes. So at number 9, I have Devin Booker, another player who elevated crazy in the playoffs. He was going insane in the first round series. I think he was averaging like 37 points or something crazy. But Devin Booker, one of the best players on that Suns team. Wouldn't be surprised if someone said he was better than KD in the playoffs. Wouldn't be surprised. But I still do think KD's better than Devin Booker. So we'll move on. At number 8, I have Jason Tatum. I kind of have like a love-hate relationship with Tatum because obviously he went up against the Warriors in the finals 2 years ago. Dang, it's already 2 years ago, like a year ago. But we went up against him, and obviously I have to root against him. But I still do think Jason Tatum is a really, really great player. Like, at the beginning of the season, he low-key was my MVP candidate before obviously like Embiid took it and Giannis and Jokic. But Tatum is still a great player. He averaged like 30 points per game. But that playoffs, man, them playoffs were kind of spooky. You were super inconsistent the whole playoffs. Very, very, very confusing. Like, you would have a 50-point game, and then you would just be trash for a whole like 3 quarters, and then you'd make a few threes. I don't know. But Tatum's still a great player, great defense, all that kind of stuff. So that's why he's number 8 on my list. At number 7, I have Jimmy Butler. Yes, I do think Jimmy Butler is better than Jason Tatum. I feel like Jimmy just gets the most out of the talent that he has. He is just a fierce competitor, one of the clutchest players in the league. You can count on Jimmy most of the time. Not that final series, though. I don't know what the hell he's doing in that final series, but most of the time you can count on him to come up clutch in the playoffs, especially in the playoffs. Actually insane. He's not a really great regular season player, but in the playoffs, he's a whole nother beast. And that's why I have him at number 7. At number 6, I have Kevin Wayne Durant. Kevin Durant, I feel like he's low-key getting underrated nowadays. He's still one of the best players in the league, one of the best scorers in the league, still great. and hopefully he can stay healthy this year. Hopefully we can get that LeBron versus KD battle in the regular season. We haven't seen it in freaking since 2018. Do the math on that. That is actually insane. KD's still one of the best players, one of the most unguardable players. He's number 6 on my list. At number 5, I have Luka Doncic, one of my favorite players in the league. I have a lot of favorite players, but I gotta just point him out, one of my favorite players. Luka, he was insane this year. He averaged like 32, 8, and 8 this year. Actual 2K numbers this year. And I also thought that he was gonna win MVP this year, but obviously the Mavericks failed in the playoffs, so that's pretty tough. But other than that, I still do think that Luka is a top 5 player in the league. He still is one of the best players. Can facilitate, great for his team, great offensive player. He could definitely work on his defense, but he's still pretty great. And the Mavericks did make some sneaky moves that I can think that can make them a pretty good team in the playoffs. Hopefully they do make it to the playoffs and stuff like that. At number 4, I have Joel Embiid, the MVP. And that's crazy, but he would definitely be a top 3 player if he actually performed in the playoffs, because he flopped in the playoffs again. He hasn't even had one series where he's actually like really been like insane in the playoffs, and he hasn't even made it to the conference finals. This is actually insane, but he does deserve his MVP. I voted for him for MVP if I actually had to vote, because I'm an irrelevant person. I don't have no damn vote. But Embiid, I still do think he was the MVP of that year. Jokic has a great case, but I do think Embiid had the same amount of wins as Jokic, and also had a little bit better numbers than Jokic, I believe. So I do think that Embiid was better in the regular season, but obviously in the playoffs he folded again. So Embiid's still a great player, but he definitely needs to show up in the playoffs. So now getting to the top 3. At number 3, I have Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Giannis, he averaged like 31 this year, and it's fantastic. It's great. But that playoff series against the Heat was a little bit shaky, man. You missed like 10 free throws, 13 free throws. It was pretty bad. I know he was injured. I know it. Don't be crying about it in the comments. I know he was injured. But still, it's still pretty bad. He was missing all these free throws. He was scared of the ball at the end of the game. And I love Giannis. But still, man, it's still pretty fishy, man, of what that was. But I still do think Giannis is going to come back next year with a mission, with revenge on his mind, and he gonna go crazy. So yeah, Giannis is at number 3 on my list. And at number 2 is my favorite player in the league, Steph Curry, at number 2, which I feel like should be pretty, the top 3 should be pretty unanimous at this point, honestly. But I have Curry at number 2 because of the fantastic things he did in the playoffs in round 1. Also in round 2, it wasn't the best playoff series, but he still was carrying that shit out of the Warriors during that playoff series. And if only Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson actually play up to their par, we might have won that series. I'm just saying. Steph Curry still had a fantastic regular season, even though he got injured, I think like 2 times in the regular season. Still great player, and he's still a top 2 player at this age, which is pretty crazy. And I don't know why people don't really talk about the longevity of Curry. They talk about the longevity of LeBron. They talk about the longevity of KD. But I don't really see people talk about the longevity of Curry. But eventually, it will have to be discussed somewhat. Still the greatest shooter of all time. And yeah, but as you can see from the whole list, now on number 1 on my list, it should be undisputed. It should be unanimous. It's Nikola Jokic, the best player in the league. It literally should be unanimous. There should be no one being number 1 other than Nikola Jokic. His crazy regular season, his crazy playoff run, his crazy finals run, winning the finals MVP, might have even won an MVP in a lot of people's eyes. Like, Jokic is clearly the number 1 best player in the league. It's not even close, honestly. I feel like there's a little bit of a gap between Curry and Jokic. And yeah, so that's the end of the list. This took me a decent amount of time to make this whole list. If there's any gripes with my list, let me know in the comments below. And I like doing these before every season, so I hope you guys enjoy it as well. I will also be trying to give some more NBA content throughout the season, and also I probably would maybe be doing live streams after games or whatever, chat about the NBA, play some games, and do other stuff on stream. So yeah, if you guys do want to see the streams, you guys want to help support the channel, then please like this video, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It'll help me out a lot, and I would really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see everyone in the next video. Peace.